This is me again, same me. So part of the discussion that I didn't really get into too much in the previous video was, fly just was bugging. I wonder if the microphone picked that up. The previous video, I was talking about the shutter speed and the aperture and ISO and the rest of that stuff. And in this video, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the art of photography. And there's like a gazillion people on the internet that have videos about what makes a good picture, what makes a crappy picture, what is good, what is bad, what's important, what's not important. And there are so many schools of thought on design and artistic interpretation that basically the bottom line is, do you like your picture? If you like your picture, it's good. If other people like your picture, that's even better. Having said that, if you're doing important things with your camera, if somebody says, hey, can you take a picture of my wedding? The thing that I would advise you to do is show them a whole bunch of the pictures you've taken in the past. Unless, of course, you're a professional photographer, then you're not listening to this because you know all this stuff. But if you're just starting out and you have a nice camera, a Canon or a Sony or a Nikon or something beyond an iPhone or an Android phone or a Pixel phone, something that people would look at you and say, hey, he's got a good camera, he probably knows how to take pictures. If somebody asks you to do something like take a graduation picture or take a wedding picture, wedding pictures or something like that, the thing you want to make sure is they know the type of photographs that you take. They know what it is you like to photograph. They know what it is, they know what your style is. Because, like I take quirky pictures of people. I make people laugh a lot. I'm not what you would call a beauty photographer. I'm not that concerned about that kind of stuff. And of course, the other thing that's related to that is, what are your post-production skills? Post-production in photography is really important. A lot of people are really good at taking pictures and they give the post-production to somebody else because they know that's the skill set that they don't really care about. And they are much more concerned about getting the image. Other people want to do both ends of the project themselves, so they will spend the time getting the photograph exposed correctly, composed correctly, and then bring it into Photoshop or Lightroom or Luminar or Affinity Photo or whatever the heck they use, and just spend as little time as possible finessing each photograph. The key thing to remember in photography, especially digital photography, is make sure that your optics are clean and make sure that your sensor is clean. If you have dust on your sensor, it's going to show up as a black dot on the screen, on the picture, and it may or may not be in focus. Probably it's going to be out of focus. If you find that you stop your lens down from f4 to 22 and you start seeing a lot of dirt, then that's dirt that's on your sensor and on your lens, and you got to clean it out. If you don't clean it out, you're going to be pained with getting rid of all those spots, especially if you're doing multiple exposures, or you're doing high dynamic range photography, or you're doing bracketing of exposures. So you have to be pretty careful with that kind of stuff, because you can definitely get bogged down in those types of photographs if you're spending a lot of time photoshopping or fixing pictures. The other thing that's important is to have your camera always horizontal or always vertical. Not tipped sideways, not tipped forward, not tipped backwards, because then you're going to end up with problems with parallax and lines going weird and all that kind of stuff. The other thing to be aware about with wide-angle lenses is you're going to be distorting people's faces. You don't want to be distorting people's faces too much. You want it to look pretty normal. This is being shot at around 40 millimeters, I believe. And at that length, my face should look pretty much like it looks in reality. If it were shot at 28 millimeters and I was a little closer to the lens, my face would be distorted. And then again, if you shoot at 90 millimeters, again, on a full frame, If you shoot at 90 millimeters, there's going to be a little bit of compression. Because I'm doing this myself right now, I don't actually know what the background looks like, whether it's out of focus or not. I should have paid a little more attention to that. This one is being shot with a boom camera, a boom lens on the camera, just a cheapie. It came with the camera that I'm going to be returning, using the Sony a7 III, and the kit lens that came with a different version of the Sony a7 III. It's called the a7C. So this is the kit lens that came with that camera that I bought separately. It's a 28 to 60 zoom lens, f4 to 5.6, which is a very good all-around lens for wide-angle shot, architecture photograph, a bit of landscape photography, and very close to being a good job with portraiture. This probably should look pretty good, except for the subject, of course. That's all I got to say. Hope you enjoyed this. See ya.